My goal has always been to make libraries that people want to use. Not just love it in the abstract or love it because it's there and you may need it at one point in time, but anyone should be able to walk in here and find something that makes them go, oh my God, I can't believe you have this. I'm so happy you do. I've always loved libraries. I really loved them as a child. And I was in actually Providence when I started to go to a library, and they had a great library that focused on a lot of things that previous libraries had. And they had a lot more pop culture, a lot more movies. So I really became enamored with them. And then I did a couple of years in the AmeriCorps Vista program, where I was working to bring arts and culture to at-risk youth or in low-income communities. And so I was working with all these arts organizations and then realized what would be the perfect delivery for this kind of stuff, and realizing how libraries could play a role in helping to develop and help further that goal. So I started working with libraries, and then as I ended my time with the Corporation for National Service, wondering what was coming next, I'm like, well, where do I go every moment with my free time? Where do I spend every day off? I go to a library. Wow, maybe I might want to try that. Did a couple of years as a clerk in South Portland, and then I was the head of circulation in Scarborough, and I really felt that I had been going to school, I was working my master's, and I really felt that I had something to contribute. So when the position came open for the town of Gray, I thought it seemed like the perfect opportunity for me, because I always dreamed of having a library that was small enough so you could really get to know the culture and the community and really serve the people that you're there to serve, as well as it's large enough to be able to have some fun and be able to try some new explorations, new ideas, new concepts, new collections, and to see what the reaction is on a very micro scale. So I didn't want to work in somewhere where my book budget was $100 a year, nor did I want to work somewhere where the population we're serving became abstract, because I was in an ivory tower with 5 million people behind me. So that's kind of how we came to Gray. I think that what I've been able to do from here has proven me right. I think that we've developed a very good collection that a lot of people are really surprised by, which always puts a smile on my face when people say, I can't believe libraries have this kind of thing, or we go after 4Ks, or we have vinyl, or some of the book selections that we do. Just very out there stuff that aren't traditionally considered to be good library fodder. I think that we have proven that both locally as well as in the statewide system, this stuff is very valuable. So we were kind of a good trendsetter in that way, and I'm very proud to be that. When I came here, the Gray Library was the first library that had the townspeople vote to improve or build an expansion after the economic collapse of 2007. There had been like 10 other libraries that went up for bond, and all of them were soundly rejected, and Gray was the first town in that period to say, we are going to invest in our library. And so I came into the old building, worked for 6 weeks, and then we blew everything up, and we worked out of the building during that entire process. So literally that change and the amount of prestige it's given to the library itself has been fantastic. And again, I think just proving to a lot of people in the larger library field of look for the offbeat, look for, you don't have to find the books that everyone wants to read. Find the stuff that 2 people want to read, and more people want to read that, and kind of explore those niches. And I think that has been kind of some of the larger changes that I've been able to see both locally and on a statewide level. I love our movie time. We have, a 150-inch screen with an 11-speaker surround system and 2 subwoofers that we've shown over 1,000 movies on for the last 10 years. We've had thousands of people come and spend some time with us. We've had communities of people develop because of their shared love of movies. And just really making a space for that kind of engagement has been fantastic. And the number of amazing people I've had the opportunity to meet through the Pat Barter Speaker Series. Don Fendler gave one of his last talks at the Gray Public Library, and seeing a 90-year-old man work a full line of people like I've never seen anyone work. He made everyone feel welcome. He had people who were Boy Scouts coming to see him despite the fact that this event happened to him 80 years before. It is truly an amazing main story, so to meet the originator and see both kind of what he did off of 3 really bad days in his life and the amount of attention he gave to people was just truly awe-inspiring.
What's the first word that comes to mind when I say Gray Public Library impact community?
Fun, I hope. Smiles, fun, love. That would be hopefully my biggest thing. When I was temporarily town manager for the blink of an eye, I think that because I served the community so well through the library, that certainly helped me have a smooth transition into that role and certainly gave me some gravitas I would not have otherwise had. I love seeing wave after wave of new parents come in and rediscover the amazing services we have for the youth, and then meet the staff that we very much put like the customer satisfaction and customer joy really as our top primary priority. But I just always believe that having the space open, having someone we may never interact with who uses the space as a solace and a resource is, it is the biggest pride that I have. And all that I can see is the few smiles that I see give me evidence that the ripples are much larger than just what I've known and can evidence. kind of my guiding philosophy is I can point out to the books and music and art that I've been exposed to that has truly changed who I am. And I don't believe that those exposures are the same for any two people. So there is no one book, if you give to anyone, they will have the same reaction to. We all have that moment where something touches us that we never expected. And that can totally change who we are, can get us through a bad time, can give us language or a kind of understanding of what it is in order to get through it. And you never know when that thing is going to hit you, which is why I believe in the expansive collection. And that's always been primed to me too, to be as open and accessible as we can to every single person in this town. I don't have this dogma of here's what you need. I'm like, I want to get what you want. I want to give you what you tell me you need, rather than here's the newest thing that the publishers told us you wanted. This is what you are going to be happy with. So that's always guided us, and I think that's always worked. One of our beloved patrons, of her own volition, took up needlepoint, I think she said 40 years ago, did it briefly and then dropped it. She was recently diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and one of the last things she wanted to do was pay tribute to the Great Public Library. And then it has, ironically, and it has a bunch of kind of secret things that really mean a lot to her, really mean a lot to what this has been. And two of the things are, one was Darcel, the old assistant director's car, and then in front of that was my old car, which now, ironically, I sold to Andrea a couple of years ago. So the new director's car is already in that needlepoint. Seeing the shock and sorrow of people when I told them I was leaving has definitely been evidence as to what I've done. A lot of stuff on the statewide system where I've been running a list of high demand books, and I've been doing that for 10 years, as well as an introduction saying here's kind of what's on my mind about libraries. I've reached points of Maine I didn't even know existed. And then when I wrote my next to last one last month, the outpouring of emotion I got from people who are like, I've been reading it for 10 years. I never reached out. I'm new to the system. You've done so much for it. And just seeing, again, the ripples of what I was trying to say, that public libraries are this important, that the work we do is this valuable, and that the love of our patrons is absolutely essential. To put that out there, then to have that so echoed and so cherished and then so picked up and exemplified and mirrored by other people is just truly astounding. It has truly just simply been the honor of my lifetime. This place will always be so near and dear to my heart. I never thought I would feel like a kid in my late 30s when I first got here, but looking back, I feel like this little pup who barely even knew his way around the world. And what the community has allowed me to do, their reaction to what I was trying to do has always been amazing. And I've taken people who have never walked in a library since they were a kid, come on back. And that seems to be going again and again and again. And I feel very fortunate to work in a system, both in a town that has allowed this and in a system that is large enough to allow someone like me to kind of make some noise and get some changes in. But again, my biggest hope too is simply that I will never know the impact, and the impact will keep on going. That people will come across something that speaks to them at that moment in time, that hits them in just the right way, that they can never imagine being who they are without that moment in their lives. And I will never know that, but I just hope that people keep up the tradition and keep on loving their library wherever they go.